Welcome back to another episode of Everyday Conversations, and I'm your host, Amin Mombani. Quick one before we start: if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening on, do that. New episodes dropping every week, and the lineup is really solid. Stay tuned. Today we are looking at mental health from a driver's seat. He's an Uber driver. He's a mental health advocate, not from a clinic, not from a stage, but from his own. He has also written a book called The Brotherhood, and soon he's going to launch its second chapter for that. And he's just a regular guy with a story to tell. He was a Division 1 students manager for a men's basketball team. Everything behind those closed doors, in the locker room. What's happening there? We'll figure it out. He also has recently launched his podcast show, The Brotherhood, Voices of Strength and Unity. Let's welcome Kris. Kris, welcome to Everyday Conversations.
Appreciate that.
I have to ask you, Kris, something. You've been back on social media after 3 months, so what were you actually looking for?
It really wasn't even social media to begin with. It was more Threads, the Threads platform that I was away from. I'd still kept a Facebook profile going, an Instagram profile going, but really wasn't posting much content, just kind of following people here and there when I could, and posting stuff to help the mindset, the growth mindset that I try to follow every day.
Great. Kris, one thing was bothering me to ask you. You describe yourself as just a regular guy with a story to tell. So I want to stay on that for a second, and because I think there is something very powerful in that phrase, that just a regular guy with a story to tell. So can you tell me something about this? Why did you write this?
I mean, I've been through the struggles of life, but I don't look at myself from a bigger picture. Uh, I'm trying to accomplish X, Y, and Z on any given day. Mine's more just trying to live life, enjoy the things that I love to do, spend time with family, writing, Uber driving a little bit here and there, that kind of thing. So I consider just myself just another ordinary person within the society trying to stay out of trouble.
And Kris, how was your day today? Like, I know it's weekend started over there. So how is your day today right now?
So far, so good. I got up, went, got me a drink from McDonald's, got my mom a cup of coffee, came home,
That's
and
great.
just kind of been relaxing, talking to an old college roommate for a little while.
Perfect. So Kris, you drive an Uber and people talk to you. Not small talk, but something which bothers them sometimes. Real talk they do with you. So what is it about that specific environment, that a stranger's car going somewhere, that makes people open up in the ways that probably they are not open up with the closest people even nowadays? How does it feel to you?
It's a good question. I would say that, like right now I'm just on one Uber rider, and I've got to know them pretty well. It's a pretty consistent basis kind of thing. So you get to know them as the person, not just an Uber rider trying to get from point A to point B or point B back to point A, wherever they may be going. You get to know them as a person, a friend, that kind of thing. And from that experience, I've taken it on in the sense of I'm here to vent for you, Kate. I'm here to vent if you need somebody to talk to about things that you're afraid to talk to with a therapist, per se, that's got qualifications. And I'm willing to listen in and kind of give my perspective from the outside in on how to handle things.
I believe, Kris, that someone who has felt all these things, the mental troubles, the mental health, and the struggles from inside, only he is the best person authorized, I think so, in that texture, that he can ask people to open up to him and he can provide them the perfect practical solution, I guess.
I agree with that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't always give my perspective on things, but it's just kind of like, hey, I'm here to vent. I'm here for you if you need to talk about something, vent, talk about whatever may be going on in life kind of thing. I don't consider myself uh, a mental health therapist. I don't have the qualifications for that by any means necessary. I'm just kind of there as an outlet for somebody to let steam off for a moment for whatever the duration of the ride may be, whether it be 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever the case may be.
So, like behind the wheels, uh, many different version of people, many different nationalities, many different culture people are there. So what is the most common question, or what is the most common thing you hear from them?
It's more radio silence than anything else, just honestly, because it depends on the rider. Every rider's different in the sense of whether they want to talk. And for like my Uber riders, when I'm out doing it, I always say, hey, look, I've got access to like the Pandora radio station and the Spotify radio, the Spotify playlist. What do you want to listen to if you're into music? What's your music go to of choice? And I'll turn on something for them if they want to. I try to make the Uber ride as comfortable for them as possible.
That's great. And has any conversation ever changed something in you?
Not really, no. I mean, if anything, it'd be my perspective on life and the daily struggles that people go through, whether that's having lost a loved one, having somebody behind bars in the prison system, whatever the case may be. That's kind of how it's changed my perspective.
So apart from mental health and the Uber thing, you have been you have taken the Division One experience. You were a students manager for men's basketball team.
Yes, sir.
How did you like? What was actually happening those at those rooms, the locker rooms, which
The
surprised you?
locker room, I would say, is where the chemistry is built on and off the court. For it doesn't matter what sport it is. The locker room is a sacred place, and the only people allowed in that locker room are the student managers, the coaches, the training staff to help get the players ready before and after practice, before and after a game, that kind of thing. So the locker room, like I said, is a very sacred place, kind of thing. And those meetings that you often don't hear about are the hard conversations that take place behind closed doors.
But mental health in sports was not that much before. Like if I talk about 10, 15 years before, it was not that much mental health and sports correlated. How you see from that perspective, like what did you observe recently?
Looking back on it from my time, it's about like the Uber. It's about like the whole Uber thing. Going back to that, it's everybody's got a story to tell, whether they're willing to open up about it or whether they're going to bottle up their feelings and not talk about it and put whatever they may be worried about to the side, kind of things, and go from there. Just so that they know they can make sure they click on the court and off the court and build that bond.
Because an athlete, even I am a Spartan OCR athlete, so an athlete should not be physically fit only. He should be physically and mentally fit. It's said everywhere, every context right now. And because there's a pressure to perform, and the
Right.
identity comes from being an athlete, that what happens to that person who comes to you who is emotionally burnt out psychologically, because of course there is a win, there is lose, there is sometimes they have to sit on the bench. So when that identity is taken away from them, or it got taken away through injury or maybe end of a year career, so when someone like that comes to you, what do you do with them?
I was kind of trying to talk them through it and see what happened. Just because, like, prime example here in the States, you're looking at some of the bigger colleges across the country. You're looking at guys that were highly rated, 5-star recruit kind of people, going from an everyday starter averaging 25 to 30 points per game in basketball to might be only averaging 5 to 10 on, say, 20 minutes a game instead of the ramp up of 30 to 35 that they're going to get. So, as a student manager, you kind of have to separate the two of them being the star athlete and them being just another person and kind of help them through whatever challenges they may be dealing with. Because a lot of the bigger schools here in the States can afford a sports psychologist, whereas a lot of the smaller schools that you see that you don't often see on TV don't have the budget, the refunds, the budgets, or even the necessary um, resources to get to have a sports psychologist on the team. So as a student manager, you kind of have to play that role, whether you're studying psychology or not. Like I didn't study sports psychology or psychology in general college. Mine was in business, but yet I still had to learn how to become a psychologist and help people talk through things and see things from a different perspective.
So you were the Division One manager, the students manager for basketball team, and you were also preparing them on their mental toughness and mental fitness as well.
Yes and no. And the reason I say yes and no is because coach does a lot of that for them, but no in the sense of I was there to I was trying to build a bond with them, a brotherhood sort of sense to let them know, hey, look, I know coach has been on you all practice. If you need to talk about it after practice, we can talk about it after practice over, say, playing some video game or just relaxing and watching TV, that kind of thing.
The Brotherhood, the self published book which you have written. So tell me something about a moment where you realized that, okay, you need to write a book and named as The Brotherhood. What was behind this book?
I would say the name behind it came from me and a couple of the former college roommates that I still keep in touch with. That's where the name came from. The book itself that's where the title comes from. The Brotherhood was about me and two college roommates basically getting put into an apartment together and as three strangers not knowing one another and becoming lifelong friends now that I consider family.
So, like, while writing that book, Brotherhood, were you going through some healing process or some struggles? The worst days of your, the worst chapters of your life, or something like that?
Yes and no. Once again, I mean, yeah, because it's where I deal with my mental health kind of thing. But no, because I'm in a good place mentally right now. I'm not there spiritually like I would like to be, but mentally, I'm there right now. And I like to say I have the niche, which I know is an overused term nowadays, but my niche is in writing because I've been writing essays, college papers, you name it, since high school, and then had the honor and pleasure to not only be a student manager in college, but also take it on as a role as an athletic communications student assistant as well, and learn how to write more professionally and doing press releases for the teams that I was working with as well.
I saw the cover of Brotherhood. It looks amazing. So, like, what do you want a man feel while reading this book?
I don't want just men to feel. I mean, while reading the book, I mean, it's a good read for anybody that has been through heartache, tough times, friends that have turned into family, that kind of stuff, and go from there. Honestly, it's the book has a little bit of everything for everybody in it. Like I said, heartbreak, love, romance to a certain extent. I kept it under the age of 18 this time, so way the 13 to 18-year-old readers could read it. It's got college life mixed into it. You name it, it's pretty much got every emotion you could feel into it in one book.
So it's a good read for everyone, I can say.
Yes, sir.
And if I'm not wrong, there's another part of Brotherhood coming.
I'm working on part two. Started writing it about 2 weeks ago. Taking a little bit of a break from it right now, but yeah, there is a part two coming here in the future.
Definitely. So I'll put the details for Brotherhood, how to get them and how to read them on the show notes below, so people can take benefit of that. Brotherhood podcast, the recent talk. How is it going? Or have you launched it?
I haven't lost that spark yet. No, I mean, I still talk to the characters in the book is centered around. I talk to on a daily basis. I was talking to one earlier this morning. Talked to the other one yesterday. Talked about them yesterday actually. So the Brotherhood is still there. Yeah, we got one of them getting ready to move about 2.5, 3 hours away from us, but the bond is still there though.
The regular guy advantage. I want to go back to something you said before, like that you are a regular guy. So, what is the advantage of that? Because right now, in this world which we are living, the modern era, therapists, life coaches, health coaches, energy coaches, healing coaches, holistic healing, every single thing is available to just on any words right now. Just open your Google and then everything is there, right? So just a regular guy. You said you are just a regular guy, but people are opening up to you and all these things. So how is this taking advantage of that? How you are being an advantage to people?
I look at it from a sense. I don't try to take advantage of the situation or the disadvantages of the situation. I'm there if someone needs me. I'm there if you want to call and talk and have a regular chat. I'm there if you want the resources for the mental health here in the States or wherever listeners may be listening to or seeing this. I'm willing to help out and find you the necessary resources in such a large stigma that wasn't talked about even 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. You talk about it. You name a time area, you name a time frame outside of the last 10 years where mental health wasn't talked about before it started being talked about by some of the biggest athletes in the world, and they'd have looked at you like you were crazy. Now it's an open thing. It's an open and honest conversation that people need to have on a daily basis.
So why the lived experience is speaks different, like from the professional advices, clinical expertise. Because what I think is that the lived experience speaks more, right?
Yes, sir. I was just gonna say, with me, the life experience comes in to going dating back to 2020 when I was what they call involuntarily committed here in the States, which means a friend, a family member, something like that reached out to higher authorities, higher figures above me. I had no idea about, and was put in a psych ward for like 5 days. And that 5 day period straightened me up. And I've only continued to live, learn, and grow from those experiences on a daily basis. And that's why I'm so passionate about the mental health field. It's because I know what it's like to be in somebody else's shoes to a certain extent. That's why I'm willing to help them get the resources that they need to save a life, save someone in their family's life, a friend's life, whatever the case may be. That's why I'm willing. That's why I'm so passionate and willing to go that far and help them.
Chris, in 2026, we have too much data for mental health right now. We have expertise, a lot of contents available on social media, but still people are suffering. What would be your one advice to those people where they should start from? Because I think there was no mental health day celebrated before, no mental health month. Everything is coming now only in recent times. So how people are still suffering? They are still low on their energy. They are still suffering the mental health issues over there everywhere in the world actually. So what
Mm-hmm.
would be your one advice to them?
Don't be
How that
afraid.
information, because
I
all the
would.
informations are available. Every information is available in the market, on the internet, on the social media, but they are not translating that information into help to take the help from it.
I would say if I had to put it in one sentence, don't be afraid to open up. Don't be scared to talk about what you're feeling at the time, whether that's happiness, joy, depression, sadness, anger, the loss of a loved one. Don't be afraid to have that conversation with even a friend or a family member. And then, if you decide you want to seek help to a professional, then go for it. I've been doing therapy off and on the last 6 years since I got out of my incident in 2020, and therapy has changed the world for me. So, like I said, don't be afraid to have those tough conversations that you don't want to have.
What do you think? Why people are scared of discussing their personal issues their mental health issues, if they are depressed, they have lost someone in their life, they have heartbroken. But some people are publicly they are scared to tell them that okay, this is the thing. They are lacking the conversations, and I know only one conversation can spark. One conversation can change your life.
I would
What's stopping them?
say that we live in a society, a world, a generation nowadays where people see like an athlete, like a professional athlete, prime example, a reality TV star. It really doesn't matter what it is. They think they're robotic. They think they're as their superhero. But what they don't see is the other side of that, which makes them human. And that's how they view things. They look at like they're like I said, the professional athlete, their favorite reality TV star, whatever the case may be, and go from there and like, oh, okay, they don't see the behind the scenes stuff that makes us human.
But Chris, behind the wheels, you are listening to a lot of stories. So how are they healed, and like what's their response when you intervene in between and say ask them something, or how they are opening up to you?
I started out as simple as, hey, how's it going? When I'm doing an Uber, like going back to the whole Uber Eats thing that I do. I started off with something as simple as, hey, how's your day going? That kind of thing. And if they say, oh, I'm having a bad day, and I try to figure out why. And then I kind of the wheels start to turn in my head to see if I can potentially help them out and make them feel better. Like, look, I'm here to talk if you need me to. If not, I understand completely. And then when they get out the car, if they hadn't talked about whatever's going on, I tell them, have a great day. I'm still trying to keep a level of positivity so that they know that they're not alone in the struggles that they deal with. Or maybe it's something as simple as it might brighten their day up. I never know.
Because nowadays, even in this part of the world as well, I have seen people that I don't know, they are scared, they have some fear in their heart that they need to open up. Everyone needs to open up to each other, and I think so. This is the sacred truth in this society we are living. People are
Oh, no
not
doubt.
talking to each other nowadays. They are not even talking to each other. They're just on the on the technical tech things, tech media.
Sure.
People are stopped.
I agree.
They're not even. I think so. There was only COVID where everyone was with their family.
Well, not even that. It depends on where you're from, too. Like, a lot of people didn't get to see their family in a time during, like, COVID, prime example. Like, that's when I had my incident, was like, 3 months into COVID, 4 months into COVID, whatever the case may have been. That was when I had my incident. When COVID first happened, I'll never forget it. It was I was at a funeral. My mom was having a panic attack, and I rushed to the hospital to be with her because she was having a panic attack, not knowing what laid ahead and what was about to happen to the world and be shut down for as long as we were shut down for.
What was your biggest ever story where you feel that you need the healing? You were struggling, you were suffering. If you want to share this to the listeners.
It comes from a background of my teenage years. I'll be open and honest about it because I'm not afraid to talk about it now. I'm not afraid to have that honest conversation. It comes from having an emotional and a mental abuser of an ex stepfather. That's where mine started. If I have the domestic violence ribbon, the purple ribbon tattooed on my left forearm to remind me of what he put me through and the struggles that me and the family were put through from the time I was 13 up until I was 18 and went off to university.
Chris, for someone like AI, artificial intelligence is too much right now into our heads, our minds. Everything we need to do, even we need to write an email, we go to ChatGPT, we go to Google Gemini, we go to Claude. How do you think? mental health is creating, I think, pros and cons of AI to mental health. Is it helping people or is it making it more worse?
That is a great question, and my honest answer is it's good and bad because yeah, it can have its pros, but the cons outweigh the pros in terms of mental health because people are self-diagnosing, going off and doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. I'm not going to say which things they are doing uh, that I don't promote, kind of thing, but they're self-diagnosing, but they're still not seeking the help and the treatment that they need to. They're just relying on AI to be their therapist at the end of it all.
Is it true that because of AI, people have stopped opening up to people, stopped opening up to the physicians, the therapists, the clinical expertise, and they just that okay, I maybe have some disease, I maybe have some issue in my mental health. If I'll go to doctor, I will feel bad, I will feel guilt, and let's speak to AI because he's not going to judge me. So, is it true that AI is destroying this kind of thing?
I would say yes, but I would even date it back before the start of AI, when people would just sit on their phones and not do nothing. With it, they could be in a room full of people and be on their phone the entire time and not talk to people around them and not get to know the people around them, whether they were having a good day or a bad day. They were closing off before AI was even in the early beta stages. AI's just made it worse in this case, unfortunately. And I wish people would have that open, honest conversation. That yeah, I've been be like, oh hey, yeah, I've been using AI for such and such, but I still need to seek the treatment, the help, the resources.
Because I've seen people, I have asked people in conversations, in podcasts, in many places that can AI replace you? Can AI replace you? Everyone has one question that AI is there to help us out, but AI cannot understand the human feelings. AI cannot replace a human behavior. AI can just give you an idea or a second thought, but of course, if you are doing some workouts or fitness training, you need to go to a personal trainer to design your program rather than putting everything on ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Claude to write down a program for you. It can write down a good program for you, no doubt, but it cannot judge you that you are doing perfectly or not. How your heart rate is going up and down, what is your VO2 max while running, did you run today or no? It cannot judge you that, but it can write you a good program, maybe a better program than your PT, but just for an idea, right?
Yes, but it's that accountability factor is where people are that I think it's the accountability factor that people are afraid of. Being held accountable for, say, prime example, you just mentioned running, not running 3 miles at, say, an 8.5 minute pace kind of thing. They're not being held accountable. Yeah, they might be able to go in and run 3 miles, but what are they running? What it's honestly, they're running 3 miles at 9.5, 10 minutes per mile. AI doesn't hold us accountable for those goals that we need to be setting and achieving for
Sure.
ourselves, is what it boils down to at the end of the day. Whereas a personal trainer would when it comes to fitness.
Definitely, when internet came in 90s, it has the pros and cons as well. If you take it in a wrong way, it can lead your life in the worst case scenario. But if you use in a good way, you could be a smart person using internet. So same thing is with AI as well. AI is not completely bad. People are scared that AI can replace their jobs or something like that, but I don't think so. Something, even AI is working if a human is giving him a prompt.
I agree with that, but to a certain extent, because AI, I think, and me and one of my old college roommates, that I can still consider brothers, are have had that conversation. He's afraid that he might lose his job due to AI because of what he does for work. He's going to be able to, somebody can send him an email, AI is going to take over that email and then like purchase accessories, purchase whatever equipment it may be that the person may need, and then send it off to another distributor. So it eliminates that middleman. That's the tough one that he's having to deal with right now.
Chris, everyone says that their problem is something very big, not knowing that if they're speaking to someone, what about their problem? But still, they are not opening up to anyone and they are putting everything in their own heart and just destroying their mental peace. So, for someone listening right now who feels that their story is very small or very ordinary or very average and word telling, what will you say to them? What will you suggest to them?
I would say in that case, you have a story to tell, no matter how big or small it may be. The word that I'm thinking of right now is testimony, a story. Everybody has a story to tell, and where they come from, their background, kind of thing. And that's how I would look at it, is their testimony, their story. Whether they were raised in the church, not raised in church, found religion, didn't find religion, off and on religion, it doesn't matter. Everybody has a story to tell, no matter how big or small they may not think it is. Their voice can, and I think should be heard.
Chris, I have seen many people, they don't even bother to listen to people. They don't even bother to hear their story and give them advice. And you are doing that every single day. How does you feel that?
Good question. I would say it makes me feel good inside, but it kind of hurts me a little bit as well because I don't get to hear the full story most of the time on some of these Uber rides that I do. I get the shortened version, the version that they've scripted in their mind that they want to talk about, and not the full blown version of it. Both sides of the story. I hear one side and not both.
Tell me the most embarrassing sports moment of your life, which you are willing to admit on the podcast.
Ooh, most embarrassing.
If you have any. I think so, you might have.
I wouldn't say it would come from the Division One aspect. It was more playing golf with a couple of the friends that I have referenced in this episode of the podcast for the Brotherhood. We were playing golf one time, and I hit a ball way left, way right. Don't remember. I just remember hitting a house, and we booked it. I mean, we were hauling tail to get away from my house because I was afraid I had broke a window in a house.
Trust me, honestly, golf is something, even I feel embarrassed while playing it. Uh, 2024 October, I went States. I was in Dallas. So my cousin picked me up. Let's play top golf. I was like, okay, there's no such hard science in that. I'll play it because you know cricket, right?
Yes,
Cricket is famous, getting famous in US as well right now. So I was
correct.
like, okay, in cricket also we need to hit the ball. In golf, the ball is stayed over there, so it's easy to hit. I was like, okay, and I hilariously hit that ball like 7 times, and the ball was on its place, and I was just swinging the shot. And I was like,
I've done
shit,
that.
and he was like,
I've done that
and
a
you
few. I've done that a few
and
times early on.
and my two cousins were there. One was playing like a pro. One goes sometimes, but he was also playing good. And he was telling me, bro, it's not cricket, it's golf. I was like, I know that. It's my first time. That's why I think I'm playing like this. He was like, okay, I'll teach you. He taught me, I think so, 3, 4 times. And I was still playing that silly shot like I'm playing a cricket shot. And it's like, I was the lowest on score. And I was feeling so embarrassed. I was like, okay, I'll go back to Dubai and I'll try top golf over there to overcome this. But still,
Hmm.
I'm not sure that I'm good at golf. I swing myself, swing my whole body, and I was like, the ball has stayed on that same place, the same pin. I was like, shit, it's too bad.
Been there,
Chris,
done that. I
the
mean,
best thing,
I can't laugh at it because I can't laugh at that because I know what it's like. I've been there. I've done that.
because you said
The
golf,
people
so
that
I
the people I used
recall
to
this.
play with, they would tell you the same stories about it. All of us doing this, did exactly what you did.
Because you said golf, so I recall that story. Chris, something best about you, which I should say during the closing, is that everyone is not there for, even the relatives sometimes are not there for you to listen to your story, right?
Correct.
People feel lonely nowadays, and that is the biggest cause of mental health rising right now. There are too many mental health cases every year rising up in the increasing numbers everywhere in the world, especially in US.
Hmm.
I collected some data, and it's like, yes, there are also a lot of cases rising up because it's a big country. People are in stress because of job loss, because of salaries, because of work pressure, because of relationships, because of family issues, domestic issues. But you are still there listening to them, listening to the short stories, short scripted stories in their mind. Sometimes on the long route, you're listening to them and you're advising them something. It's
Hmm.
very great thing, you know. I really say bless you for this. It's a great
Thank you.
blessing for them also that they are opening up to people, opening up to you, because it's hard to open up to people sometimes, because someone thinks that, even me, if I open up to someone, I don't know how he will react, how he will think. And people opening up to you behind that wheels, I think so it's the best thing. They are opening up to the best person who is so profound in that, who is listening to them, who has gone through that phase, who has gone through those struggling chapters of his life, and giving them a great advice, giving them good advice. Even sometimes you might not have the advice to them because the routes are short. They had to go down, they had to get down, but still you don't react in the negative way to them. I believe that. So that's something best. A man who drives strangers through cities, listening to their stories, and write books nobody asked him to do. So that is, I think, so something very great, and you're doing amazing thing. And
Thank you. Thank you.
this is Kris Webster. Here's what the conversation reminded me of. The most powerful thing you can do for someone is who is struggling is not give them a diagnosis or a five-step plan. Just sit with them. Sit next to them. Whether it's in a car, it's on a bench, it's on a bus, just sit next to them, listen to them. Maybe you can help them out. Because if we all collaborate with each other, if we all combine, so I think we can solve these issues. We can solve the mental health issues everywhere. Because it's not necessary that every answer a clinical expertise have, every answer a therapist have. It's not necessary. I think a normal, regular guy who has his own stories can solve their issues. Right, Chris?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Don't be afraid to speak and open up about what you may be dealing with. Somebody might be dealing with the same thing, and maybe it sparks up a friendship. You never know what it's gonna. You never know what the outcome's gonna be of it.
And so that's what I want to tell my listeners, that that's what Kris Webster does. You don't need that small abbreviations next to your name. Every shift, every movement of yours count if you sit with people who are struggling, who are going through some difficult phase of their life. Sit with them, listen to them. Maybe they are not asking you to provide a solution. Maybe they are not asking you to provide an advice. Maybe they feel they maybe they find that energetic vibe in you, and they need to open up to you. So all of the Kris details I will put down in the show notes below, about the podcast, about the book he has written, the Brotherhood, and also the details of Kris, how to contact him if you need, because Kris is there. Even if you are texting him, emailing him, or writing up on Instagram, he will definitely be replying to you. Kris, thank you for that reply on the threads which I post, and that led us so far over here. And I think so it was a great conversation doing with you.
Yep.
And
Thank you for having me
hopefully to
today.
see you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.